It may be the input data, the output data, or intermediate data. Okay, the third type of decomposition is exploratory decomposition. Okay, konsep exploratory ni ada certain problem yang the data ataupun the search space tu akan berlaku. You will know the search space after the first step, after you proceed the next step, baru you tahu. Contoh, you main game. Okay, contoh yang dibagi, the simple problem is 15 puzzle problem. 15 puzzle problem macam ni. Yang ni, this is what we call as 15 puzzle problem. So you may begin with A. Kita start dengan A. Kosong. Kosong dia dekat sini. Okay, what is so the search space is all the numbers and the position of the numbers. Okay, itu search space dia. So the next search space will rely on the move that been made. You gerakkan dia ke atas, ke bawah, ke tepi, ke kiri, then the search space will be based on that. Okay, so macam mana nak buat proses sebenarnya ni? Nak macam how to decompose this kind of situation. Decomposition tadi, problem yang diberi data or process involved with the problem memang static. Okay, we can be determined a priori. Kita tahu data tu sahaja, tak akan berubah. Kita tahu proses tu itu sahaja, darab dengan tambah itu sahaja, tak akan berubah. Kita tahu item set of the frequency sama, tak tambah. Maknanya there is the changes might not happen during the process. However, in the exploratory decomposition, it is suitable for a problem that, okay, dia punya search space, okay, might change based on the process, based on the situation. So benda tu boleh berubah. Step dia sama, the process sama ada pergi gerak ke atas, ke tepi, ke bawah atau kiri kanan, itu sahaja. However, the search space, apa maksud search space? The situation, the data itself, the game board, the search space tu. Okay, so exploratory decomposition is used to decompose problem whose underlying computations correspond to a search of a space for solution. Jadi yang dia masuk the underlying computation correspond to a search of a space for solution. Maksudnya ni? Maksudnya ialah the step ataupun the process akan berlaku based on the search space. Apa nak buat seterusnya bergantung kepada search space yang ada. So in exploratory decomposition, we partition the search space into smaller parts and search each one of these parts concurrently until the desired solution are found. So the decomposition might happen during the execution process. Kalau data decomposition dengan recursive decomposition, the decomposition process happen before the execution process. Kita dah decompose siap-siap dan kita akan bagi kepada, we will map it into a processor. Kita bagi pada processor. However, in exploratory decomposition, the decomposition process might happen during the execution. So at the same time kita kena decompose, pecah lagi bagi pada processor. Okay, so for an example of exploratory decomposition, consider the 15 puzzle problem. So ini contohnya, dia kata a 15 puzzle problem instance showing the initial configuration A. Asalnya macam ni, the final configuration D, and the sequence of moves leading from the initial to the final configuration. So A, lepas tu dia gerak ke 7 ke atas, and then ke kiri, and then ke atas, then dia got the final. Okay, so this is the state space that can be explored by generating various successor states of the current state and to view them as an independent task. So in this situation, macam mana kita nak buat kalau belajar dalam searching problem? So biasanya for computer, untuk first starting, this is the first part. berapa search space yang dia akan ambil? Dia akan ada 4 possible move. So this is the first. Okay, akan ada 4 possible move. Macam mana? Sama ada 15 you move to the, pergi ke atas, ataupun 7 you move to down, turun ke bawah, ataupun yang ini 10 you pergi ke sini, ataupun 11 you pergi ke kiri. Okay, so there are 4 several moves. So this is the search space. So each search space kita akan bagi sebagai satu task. Task 1, task 2, task 3 dan task 4. Okay. So each task akan generate new search space. So each of the search space, kalau nak divide lagi, nak decompose lagi, you can generate it into another task. So that's the concept. So that's the exploratory decomposition. So kalau ada, let's say awak pakai another example, another game example. So ada 5 ataupun 6 possible moves. So you may generate 6 tasks. Okay. So how many tasks will be generated? It depends on the situation at that time. So dia punya proses bergantung kepada space yang ada lah. Okay. So in many instances of exploratory decomposition, the decomposition technique may change the amount of work done by the parallel formulation. So this chain result is super or sublinear speed up. So for example, in this case, let's say you ada this situation. So solution, so kata total serial work 2m plus 1, total parallel work 1. Kalau yang ini total serial work m, total parallel work equals to 4m. So let's say solution awak ada you jumpa solution you, dia kata di sini, dia kata dia kata the decomposition technique may change the amount of work done by the parallel formulation. So dia bergantung kepada bila you jumpa solution. Kalau solution you duduk dekat sini, dia punya serial work you banyaklah. Kalau yang kat sini solution you duduk depan sekali, dekat atas pun dah jumpa solution, so it will stop. So total serial work M, parallel work 4M. 4 ni bersih-bersih 4 kerja. So ada example lah. Ada soalan? Okay. And last type of decomposition is speculative decomposition. Speculative decomposition, in some application, dependency between tasks are not known a priori. Yang ni yang lagi kalau exploratory tadi, dia punya search space tu kita tak tahu. Okay. Tapi the step kita tahu ke kiri, ke kanan, ke atas, ke bawah, macam tu sahaja. But in the speculative decomposition, dia kata problem yang di mana dependencies between tasks yang kita tak tahu. Okay. For such application, it is impossible to identify independent tasks. So kita tak tahu yang mana satu yang kita boleh buat dulu until we deal with the task. So there are generally 2 approaches to deal with such application. Some ada conservative approach which identify independent tasks only when they are guaranteed to not have dependencies. Satu lagi approach is optimistic approaches which schedule tasks even when they may potentially be erroneous. So ada certain problem yang kita tak tahu dependency among the tasks a priori. Kita tengok, okay, boleh pecah kepada beberapa task, but we do not know the independent between the tasks. So, benda-benda macam ni, bila tak tahu dependency, we cannot do the decomposition process. So, macam mana nak deal with this kind of problem? Ada 2 approaches. Satu, conservative approaches, which is you akan identify an independent task only when they are guaranteed to not have dependency. Kalau memang confirm tak ada dependency, barulah you akan decompose. So biasanya you have to deal with it first. Maknanya kena execution lah. So the decomposition might happen during the execution process for conservative approaches. Another approaches to deal with this kind of problem is by using optimistic approach. Macam mana optimistic approach? The schedule tasks even when they may potentially be errorless. So divide dulu, do the decomposition. So kalau ada error, barulah you akan roll back, balik pada asal. Buat balik. Itu dia punya ni lah. Speculative decomposition is different from exploratory decomposition in the following way. Apa beza antara speculative dengan exploratory? In speculative decomposition, the input at a branch leading to multiple parallel tasks is unknown. Macam mana nak dapat from one stage to another stage? Kita tak tahu. Whereas in exploratory decomposition, the output of the multiple tasks originating at a branch is unknown. Kalau compared to exploratory, kita tak tahu yang mana satu, contoh macam game tadi. Okay, kita tahu branch mana yang akan lead to the solution. So you have to divide. Tapi the steps you know. Okay. So for example, you have discrete event simulation in computer network to simulate new protocols for different network traffic scenario before employment. Contoh yang dibagi ialah awak ada discrete event simulation. Discrete event you want to simulate an event in a computer network. So ini contoh. So ini adalah system component. See each of these ABC represent the event. So there is system input A and B, and you want to go through it up to I. So which path A akan lalu, which path B akan lalu, memang you tak tahu. And so to get the output, so you do not know which tasks will depend on each other. So kita tahu A ni akan pergi ke C ke, terus pergi I ke, dia pergi ke D ke, dia pergi ke E. Okay, so we do not know. Okay, so this is example of speculative decomposition. So in the real application, usually hybrid decomposition is used. Apa maksud hybrid decomposition? Kita tahu tadi ada 4 type of decomposition. Ada recursive, ada data, ada speculative, ada exploratory, speculative. So biasanya often a mixed decomposition technique is necessary for decomposing a problem. So consider the following example. In quicksort, recursive decomposition alone limit concurrency. Kenapa? A mix of data and recursive decomposition is more desirable. So kalau contoh yang kita tengok tadi, list of number tu kecil sahaja. So kita rasa macam bolehlah nak buat recursive decomposition alone. However, it may involve a very lengthy of data yang banyak. So in this situation, kita mungkin nak mix antara data and recursive decomposition. So and then another example, in discrete event simulation, there might be concurrency in task processing. A mix of speculative decomposition and data decomposition may work well. So kalau kita tengok tadi discrete event simulation tadi, ada beberapa task yang ada. Okay, so setiap node to represent the task, a different task. So yes, of course you need to use speculative because we do not know which path yang input dia akan ambil, yang akan pergi, A tu akan pergi ke mana. This example, A ni akan pergi ke mana. However, each of these tasks, okay, each of the tasks C, D, E and so on may have their own task processing. So maybe you can use data decomposition at the task. Contoh kalau A ambil A pergi ke C. So at the C task, C event, you may need to use a data decomposition to decompose the task at C. Okay. Sorry. So even for simple problems like finding a minimum of a list number, a mix of data and recursive decomposition works well. For example, you ada list of number dan you nak cari minimum between the numbers. So first you do the data decomposition. Macam mana? Kita pecah dulu pada 4. Task 1, task 2, task 3 and task 4. And then based on that, baru you do the recursive decomposition. Divide it into problem. Okay. So any question?